Welcome to the studio of Izat, our resident for Malaysia. You have been here for almost 3 months, supported by the Federal Foreign Office. And Izat, you have made some lovely connections and visits to Dresden while being here. Please, could you say something about your project and about the people you met to develop this project?
Okay, so this project started off with the intention of creating some human agency towards non-human entities. So when I first proposed the project was to look into the greenhouses in Leipzig and Germany to look at the tropical plants in these greenhouses, and also to try to think about a different perspective of repatriation. So instead of museum artifacts returning to their country of origin, maybe some living thing that can return. So I started off with thinking of how this transaction can happen, and maybe the closest that I can try to create this human agency is to think about deportation camp or like a detention camp for maybe illegal immigrant or whatever. So with this idea, then I with the help of LIA, made contact with the University of Dresden, the botanical garden there, and during my visit I met Barbara Dish, the curator of the garden, and she allowed me to access the archives, and during our discussion and my visit to the garden, I found this pepper beetle plant, which is originated from Southeast Asia to the Indian continent, and of course this plant is also has a lot of cultural significance. It is used to chew and like kind of a nicotine kind of effect of people addicted to it and giving them some kind of boost, and culturally also it is used for a lot of medicinal purposes, given as gift for weddings, and apart from that, seeing the plant in the botanical garden just creeping on the terrain of the garden was kind of like a feeling of home, feeling of tropicality. So yeah, so I then, after the visit to the garden, finding the plant, I thought maybe the focus of this project would be towards this plant. And so Barbara, she opened up the archive for me, and we looked at all the various throughout the various years of the Dresden garden, and the identification cards of this particular plant. So I could see from the beginning the names and the classifications, how it changed, and even the physicality of the cards from being handwritten and very manual to now being 100% digital. And yeah, so I scanned these cards, and they are in the installation as a historical but identification of these plants. And you can also sort of trace the lineage of how this plant has arrived in Dresden and how it is now part of the collection. In the card you can see where is the origin and who found the specimen, and what are the changes to the scientific developments botanical developments that they found, and the references that you can then also look into. So it's a kind of a complete history of this specific plant within the context of the botanical garden in Dresden, and also making footage of the plant and the garden, I wanted to create this dialogue with the plant. Of course, the plant will not reply, but the questions are motivated in some way to paint this kind of picture of what is the problem with the plant, where is the plant going, and what is the feeling of the plant. And what I found really interesting in the garden itself was the apparatus or the things that were used to maintain the tropicality of the garden. The air vents, the thermometers, the fabricated climate. And it was interesting to be in the garden for long periods of time and realizing that there was no wind inside because it's all contained, and that was a very important experience because in an actual jungle, of course, you have everything, and also the sound of the cricket, and it's really not so controlled, and to mimic that at a level that is almost similar is amazing to see. And so this work is titled "The Sound of the Cricket is Only in Your Mind," because when you are in a tropical jungle, you will hear this animal making the sound, and it's also part of the identity of a tropical jungle. So in the garden, there is no sound of the cricket, but looking at the images, you can sort of play in your mind this tropical sound. So hence the title is like this.
Do you identify in a certain way with the plant, as you are also here as a traveler and experiencing our planet as well? Is that connected or related to each other?
I think also based on the idea of the plant relinquishing its cultural significance. The same with me. On the other hand, not really relinquishing, but adapting to a new cultural setting, and the cultural values or the sensibilities that I have from Malaysia. You need to adapt and to find how to survive or how to be here in Germany. And this is across the board, for your everyday life, your eating, your interaction, and the way you behave, the way you perform as a person, but also at the same time as an artist. There are many different ways to navigate now, and that experience is probably also parallel with the plant.
What will you take home when you're leaving end of the month from Leipzig? Is there anything which triggered you or which inspired you and you might want to implement at home? Or is there anything you want to take home from your new home?
I think the major thing that I have witnessed in the first part, specifically through LIA, is the overall, I would say, generosity of trying to provide the artists with a way to work and to facilitate that work, and in certain situations in back home it might not be similar. There is no sometimes the process goes through a lot of bureaucracy to engage with institutions and different bodies, especially if you are dealing with artists, because there is always the question, what are you doing, why are you doing this? And with the reputation of LIA, it makes it so much easier to connect with, for example, Dresden University and the Botanical Garden. And I think this is what made me really appreciate the time here. And I think taking back to Malaysia will be also thinking about how to navigate this situation better. And maybe by engaging more and having more open dialogue with certain institutions, to be open to artists collaborating and making work with them, and possibly seeing other ways of presenting and presenting what they have through artistic intervention. So